Okay, well, last time we were looking at this crazy table that we were doing, where we spoke of creating a database table for kindergarten children. Now, let me make this clear, guys, students. My primary concern here is to teach you the skills, right? I expect you to know how to use whichever skill you need to solve the problems, especially in your SBAs, all right, or to accomplish the tasks that you're given to do. There's no way, it is impossible for a teacher to think of every scenario, every situation that you will face, and then to prepare you or give you examples of every scenario that might possibly come at you. Acquire the skills, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how to do it. If you know why, chances are you'll know when to use which skill. And it doesn't make sense you know which skill to use if you don't know how to use it. But even then, when you know how to use it, you need to know how depending on what you're doing. So if you tend to master those three concepts, the what, the why, and the how, because they are very closely interrelated, then you would have solved your problem. Remember, a well stated problem is more than half the solution. A well stated problem is more than half the solution. I don't remember who said that, but I heard it, and based upon my experience, it is rather true. All right, so let's get into this now. Now we're looking at populating tables somewhere. This little crazy table that we have, we're doing just for fun. We're going to use a form. All right, so let's use a form now. Let me close that table for a bit. I click on create. Then in the form section here, I go to wizard. It's best to create tables by design as well as queries by design. But for reports and for forms, it's best to use a wizard. All right, it's, and by best I mean easier, less complicated. All right, let's go to form wizard. So I select form wizard, and I'm using this same table. All right, the children table, because I have two tables. Remember the titles table over here, all right, that is also listed here. I can use that table, but I mean, that was simply created to give a list of menus, right? A menu option. This is the children table, and I want to send all the fields across. I can send them one by clicking on that. Could do that. Let me send them back over. But if I'm sending everything at once, I can just send everybody. All right. Then I click next. How do I want my table? Columnar, tabular, data sheet, justified. Columnar tends to be fine. The default options tend to work well. Let's call this children form. Children form. And then finished. And here is my form. Looks similar to what you see normally on a web page, right? When you're signing up for something, right? So if you notice, one says forms, a category, you have tables, it's a category. Now you have forms, another category, and we can go through the ones that we already had. All right, which we had three of them. See, 3 of 3. Now to create a new form, we can go back as well. The second one, then the first one. All right, we can go straight to the end with this button here, last record, or we go to the next record, right? So let's get into this now. All right, so title, let me say for the title I want doctor. Yes, a PhD kindergarten child, very smart. So let's call this child now Alberta. All right, and let's call this Henry. Age, I'm using the tab button, by the way, because it's easier than using the mouse. Tab. Let's say age 2, right? Whose date of birth was, let's make this really fun now, was just April. Hold on. Let's go to March. February, March, February. Let's go to February. Yeah, February 28th. All right. Gender is female, and let us double click here. Right click, sorry. Insert object, and let's go get a picture from somewhere. From file, browse, and let's just choose one of those. All right, and click OK. So now here is Alberta, what she looks like. Wow, what will we see? Okay, another part of an exam. All right, and parent email is genius at what now? harvard.com. All right, I'm really making a mockery of this table. We can go and create another one if we want, by clicking this create option here. Create a blank record, and let's go one more. Let's call this Thomas. Oh, title. Let's go Mrs. Thomas. Last name Edison. Yeah, that's an interesting one. All right, who is 3 years old? Gender, Mrs. She are married too. Whoa. No, let me go Miss. I don't want to encourage that. Let's go Miss. All right. Date of birth. Miss, yes, that's fine. Date of birth. Mr. But I want Miss. Oh no, I don't have a Miss. Oh wow. Alright, Mr. then. But then is male. To be male now. Date of birth, let's put it as yesterday. Alright. This person's asking if you're born yesterday. You can say yes because Thomas Edison. Alright. Inventor of many things, including I think the light bulb as well. From file, browse. And let's just randomly choose another one. Alright. Click OK. And the personal email is thumb@edison.com. And that's it. So that's where we are. So we close that form for the time being. But you notice something when I open the table, open the children's table, you realize it's now populated. Alright, except this person doesn't have ID, doesn't have a picture. Let me insert one quickly. It's a bitmap. Okay. No, so that doesn't work for me. Alright. And then I go to Ming at yahoo.com. Alright. But what the key thing though is that you realize that when we use the form, it did actually add the data to the table. So we can populate a table by using forms. That was option number 2 that we did. The first option was entering data straight into the table. Another one is that we can import data straight from a spreadsheet. So I already prepared a spreadsheet. So let's go get that spreadsheet now. So go to external data, and then it says you have export, you have import. So let's select new data source from file, and this is Excel, and I put that file on my desktop. Now I know I'm doing a little bit fast here, but what happens is that you can always rewind. All right, click desktop, database tables, that's the one I wanted to use. Click open, then click OK. Now what happens with this is that you want to make sure that, as I said to you before, make sure even though you did the spreadsheet, here's a spreadsheet that I did, that you don't have spaces or special characters in the field name. Make sure as well that the field names as you want to use them is in the very first row. All right, then here we are. This is the exact table there. The option that says first row contain column headings, make sure that is selected. Usually if you set up properly, it will be selected. Make sure you start at row 1, then we click next, and then this basically is asking you which forms, which rows or columns you don't want to import or that you're importing. All right, I'm usually importing all the ones I select. All right, I don't want any primary keys. Let access add primary key, choose my own primary key, no primary key. I don't want any primary key. Next, and then I can call this, let's say grades, press enter, and then I should see another table show up here. There it is, grades. So this is my spreadsheet data that I imported into the database. So this is how you can create a database table. 3 different ways. Populating the table yourself, typing the data in the table, populating it yourself manually. 2, by using forms. 3, by actually importing from a spreadsheet. And that's that. Have a good day.